YouTube, what's going on, everybody? The Palo Santo is lit, so you know we started. Thank y'all for joining. Thank you for hitting that thumbnail. Welcome to all of the people who have never been here before. Welcome. And to the subscribers, welcome back home, y'all. Welcome to the family. To everybody who has never come here, thank y'all. If y'all know how I get, y'all know how I am. Y'all know I don't like to get long-winded with the introductions. Y'all know the flow of how things is. Y'all seen the title in there. So y'all know how I am. And for all my people who don't subscribe, not subscribe, for all the people who are not already subscribed, I always got to give some little spiel and some backstory on how I came about what I'm talking about today. And I think I was in my neighborhood driving around, right? Now, some very beautiful homes in my neighborhood, very inspiring. One of the main reasons why I wanted to move and live where I live, because $1 million homes around me. And I seen a house that was not fully built yet. And I noticed the foundation of the house. And I was just like, you know what, to the average person, that's probably something that they just overlook, you know, and like, unless it's your house. And of course you want to make sure you get a nice home. You want to make sure the foundation of your home is strong. And, you know, if you're doing it for a monetary purpose, which I'm sure anybody is getting a home and owning a home, it's for more than just living in it. It's for being able to have an investment. If you're looking at it from that view, you're also looking at it from the perspective of like, okay, I want to make sure the foundation is strong. But I also thought about how when people look at the foundation of homes, they don't get excited about the foundation of the home as much as somebody will get excited about. And this is the average person, not saying you're a construction person or an architecture and that's your thing. But the average person doesn't get excited about the way the foundation look, as in you see in the slab of the asphalt on the floor, or the foundational layers that's put by concrete, and the piping that comes out of the ground to establish the plumbing, etc. Most people don't get excited about that. Most people get excited by the color of the walls, the type of walls that it will have, the brick layering, the type of roof it will have, just this name, the type of doors, the type of windows, the type of window panels, the window panes. Then you get into the house and you start looking at all of the appliances and the type of refrigerator you'll have, and the type of espresso machine if you just high end like that. And I think y'all get my point. Most people would just get super excited about the things that look beautiful and appealing to them when it comes to the structure of a home. From the structural part, from the beginning of it, all the way to the color of the paint on the wall, down to that last little detail of that painting that you need to get, or you need to get that one plant or this one accessory that you just need to add into your living space. Those are all a part of your home. But what's amazing is that most people skip over that process, or not love the process as much of the foundation in building a home. And the reason that made me think about success being, or true success, last longing success, is like building a house, is because a couple things that I noticed. The first thing that I noticed is it's important to have a strong foundation when you're building a home, right? Imagine if you had a beautiful home and you got it built and you were all the way up to that last little accessory that I said, or that last little painting on the wall that you needed. And you finally put that one painting on there, and then a week later your whole house crumbles or it sinks because you just built it on a weak foundation. And I think when you understand that when you're building success and you're building growth over a certain amount of time and having more than what you had before, which you have to understand what your definition of success is, then you have to understand what got you that thing, because the secret is to keep it. And if you don't know how to repeat and duplicate what you did and then expand on that, you won't end up getting what you got in the first place, and you won't have it for a long time, and you won't have the secret as in to keep it. So that's one of the main reasons that it is important to be able to have a strong foundation when you are looking to grow and have more than what you had the day before, or become more than you were the day before. which is the definition in my terms of success. So when you're looking to be successful at anything, if it's being more successful at YouTube, if it's being more successful in your marriage, being more successful in your friend group, being more successful in the way you communicate with people, you need to start off with the boring things to figure out what is the foundation of being able to see this in its entirety. What is the last part of this? But first, before I understand what the last part is, let me work on the foundational components of what would actually give me that. So when I do get it, I can understand the secret, which is to keep it. So that's the first part, is being able to understand that true success is really built upon having a strong foundation of what you are and what you want to be when it comes to being successful. Now a strong foundation could look different for everyone depending on what you want to do and what you are. But in my opinion, I think some things that can help you with having a strong foundation is being able to be teachable, as in constantly learning, constantly understanding. Like, I need to learn something that's aligned with where I want to be every single day. Like I said, communication, for instance, you can do all type of different ways to learn how to become a better communicator. You can meet somebody in person and get a mentor. You can actually read books. You can Google things, watch videos. There's so many different things. But as long as you're building the foundation to start growing, then you will start understanding how the big picture or the full house is built, all the way down to the painting. There's other things you can do that's foundational, that's, I think, translate amongst all things, no matter what you want it to be, outside of communicating. You can have, outside of being able to learn, you can also have some time for yourself to just think, some thinking time, some time where you just detach and assess where you're at. A lot of times what we don't do is we're on go. We go. We're going all the time, even if it's to a job that we don't love, but we don't take that time. And I don't want to say meditate, because then people think, oh, I have to be like, and all quiet in a room and all that. But just take some time to be like, you know what? I'm going to take 5 minutes from my phone and I'm going to assess where I'm at. I'll keep your eyes open. Just sit there and just be like, all right, where am I currently at in my life? Am I currently doing what I need to be doing to get to where I want to be? And if not, what do I need to do differently? That literally can take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, a max of 5 minutes. And you implement that to build that foundation. So that's what I think people need to understand with having a house, and how it's built upon the foundation and it grows, having a strong, solid foundation. So I'm not gonna make this video super long-winded. Let me know in the comments. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe too. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Sharing is caring, and when you're caring is sharing. But I'll build upon this if y'all have the request for me to go in more details on foundational things that you can do that's similar to building a foundation for yourself and then when it comes to being successful. But I think y'all get the idea of understanding that, yes, like a house, the parts that's boring, that nobody really pays attention to, the little foundational slab of concrete that you see all houses are built upon before they start putting even the wood up and the 4x4s and the sheetrock. All of that stuff looks like it's boring, but the success is built off of the foundational things that you need to understand. What is my success built upon? And just to get a little sidetracked, not to get too sidetracked and run out of attention, that alone is another reason why I am still not where I want to be financially, or where I want to be in the level of success, because how I got there mattered to me. I was approached by a lot of different people for a lot of different things, to become wealthy a lot of different ways and to become rich a lot of different ways. I just didn't want those routes. Especially being in the city of Atlanta, this is the entertainment mecca. I didn't want to take the entertainment route all the way, and I'm sure I have a lot of comrades, shouts out to them, that for the sake of them wanted to just be able to take care of their kids and have to deal with the mother of their child's drama, baby mama drama. They took that route of entertainment and did what they did to get the bag, and they're rich, and that's cool. I didn't want to take that route. So even for myself, how I got there matters to me. So how you build your foundation matters. The second thing that I notice about a house and success and how it is that when you start building and you look at your house, things have to make sense for it to be what it is. And when you're building success, things may not always make sense when you're trying things and it's trial and error, but it still needs to make sense. Like, if you build a house, depending on where you put the windows will determine what it is. It can be four walls, but it's not a house until it has these certain things. A door is placed here, windows are placed here. That's why they have zonings and they have codes and regulations and they have certain things. So you have to understand that when you are doing what you're doing when it comes to success, another way to really build it like a structural, strong house built on a foundation, and it has to have good functionality, as in your success has to make sense. But first, it has to make sense to you before it makes sense to other people. And something that goes along with this is what I was saying. The first person that you need to sell is selling it to you. And I'll put a little card up there to one of these videos I did before that had to do with just, you need to sell yourself. You need to be the first person sold on anything that you want to sell. In an exact same way, when it comes to becoming successful, like building a house, it needs to be able to make sense when it comes to the functionality of what you're doing. Because there's a lot of people who made the world what the world is today, and it didn't make sense to nobody but them in the beginning. And people was like, oh, they shit ain't gonna work. They crazy. They don't know what they doing. They don't. It doesn't matter. Because to be honest, people don't know what they want. And the people who build things and the producers of the world determine what everybody else wants. And then everybody else follows the fuck along and says, oh, I like this. I always believed in them. So you have to be brave enough and believe in yourself enough and have to make sure it makes sense to you enough to where when you're finally ready to put it out into the marketplace, you can test it and do iterations to see what the marketplace says and what consensus is there and available to you based off of the engagements that you get. But just because people might not be getting in the beginning doesn't mean that it's not something that will change people's lives forever. So I think the one thing that you can take is understanding that it needs to be able to make sense from a functionality standpoint from you, your success, how you're moving, how you're timing your day, how you're planning your day, how you're spending your energy. All of those things need to be aligned and make sense and say, you know what, if I have a goal to post this amount of posts this week, if I have a goal to write this amount of pages in my book, if I have a goal to do this amount of edits on my video, this amount of edits on my draft for my paper or my new book I created, if I have a goal to make this amount of workout videos so I can post this, like those plans in time, it needs to make sense because it has to be able to function a certain way and it has to have functionality embedded with it. And that's true success. That's true. Hey, you know what? Last week, I only had 5 new contacts. Well, I need to start making sure I create my strong foundation and start making sure it makes sense on how I get to my next 10. Cool, I'll do this day, I'll do this at this time. All right, fast forward 3 weeks from now, a month in total, I have 25 new contacts because within the process, you made sense and it was functioning. It made sense. Everything that you have in your life that stays around, it makes sense. A microwave works the way it works because it makes sense. A car works the way it works because it makes sense. Your TV, you push a remote, it turns on, it works the way it works. I was just telling somebody, not to run on a tangent again, y'all know how I get, but I was just telling some of my Instagram people, and if y'all ain't following on Instagram, y'all can go check me out there. Words by Waters 2, WORDSBYWATERS at Words by Waters. But I was telling Instagram that probably like a couple of weeks ago. I don't know when the time was, but I was saying like, oh yeah, this was around the time that that plane had collided with the helicopter. And man, shouts out to the family and everybody still for those blessings. Tragic shit happens all the time, and people so numb to things that we just forget about it, and we'll send blessings out for one day and then go back to watching Netflix, not giving a fuck about nothing else. But shouts out to those people, man. I hope they, dealing with everything they had to deal with and dealing with their losses and everything. But I was telling people that we need to be able to pay attention to how things work so we can be grateful for them. And what made me think about that was just planes. Do you know understand how technical planes are and the routing of planes and the craziness for a plane to crash into a helicopter and the time that we spent to get planes to where they are and helicopters to where we are, what we learned about aviation throughout hundreds of years, throughout just trying things, and planes hadn't even been around for that long, to be honest. But I said that to say that people have to start paying attention to how things work. So things function a certain way and you get the end result because they make sense. And people do trial and error, and scientists spend all these hours of art research and development trying to understand how things can become what we have when we go into the store and we purchase them and make a transaction and we get it. But there was a lot of R&D that was involved with that when it didn't make sense in the beginning. So you need to make sure what you're doing is making sense. The exact same way that a house, when it's finished, it makes sense. You just don't see a random ass door right here, and the door don't have the right height, and the doors, it's just, it's like, what the fuck? People, I'm sure y'all get what I'm saying. So first thing, understanding that success is built on a strong foundation like a house. Secondly, success has to make sure it's functional and makes sense, just like how a house makes sense. And lastly is, I think the one thing I understand about success is that, like, don't be afraid to, like, experiment. I think that'll be the last thing I have to say. Don't be afraid to experiment. Like some of the best houses you'll look at and they make sense and they have functionality, but somebody would go do something crazy. Look at the houses that we have now. They have iPad homes that are controlled, pushes a button, the house does this, the floors are heated. We have houses like that 50 years ago. So it's like, don't be afraid to experiment when you're trying to figure out what you want this entire level of your success to look like. Just try some shit out. Just be like, you know what? I think that if I try this, this will make me feel successful. You know what? I wrote a book. I'm going to try ebook, but then I'm going to try ebook and I'm going to publish it, but then I'm going to put some digital downloads on Etsy too. Just get diabolical with it. Just get crazy with how you want your level of success to look in your life. And I think once you start doing that, you will expand. You would say, man, I didn't really think that, this would turn into this. Because in my mind, I had this original idea, but I ventured out and tried something different that it all made sense and all functioned, but it's expanding and just not being limitless. People just go crazy with their homes. And I think that's another thing that makes houses so crazy that made me think about the relation to success is that if you see some of the homes, you'll see people's homes and you'll be like, dang, what made you think about putting this there and adding this in there? All type of crazy things. All type. And I watch homes all the time for inspiration, from mega mansions that are $120 million in LA and Beverly Hills to crazy houses in South Africa that's built off rock. Like the house that they shot Iron Man in, the movie was shot in South Africa and it was a real house. So just crazy stuff. So I think that's the next thing that you can really understand about success and how it relates to a house and true success. True success, being able to grow and evolve and being able to keep it, is that those people didn't limit themselves. They was like, you know what? All right, I got this far. Let me see how much more I can expand. Let me add another house. Like there's so many houses where I live that they got guest houses in the back. I was just talking to my daughter today on the phone and we was FaceTime. I was like, Mom, you see this house right here? I just never noticed that this little house behind this house is really the guest house for that other house in the front. I just thought it was a whole nother house. It is, but I didn't know it was on their property. So it's kind of being able to understand that when you want to learn how to become successful, one of the best things that you can do too, y'all, is being able to just not be afraid to just venture out and have crazy thoughts and experiment and try things out. Crazy colors on your home, being able to get crazy big sculptures and art pieces, or being able to put a different type of room in there, put a gym in there that has, just all type of crazy. I can't even think about the different things they have right now. Trust me, normally I'd be able to ramble stuff off because I'm watching it all day. But for the sake of time, I want to just come in here and get to y'all real quick. But that is what I thought about y'all, and a few little pointers that I feel like it makes me understand. Like, if you can see that true success is built like a house that's cozy, and a house that won't shake when the wind blows, and a house that'll just stay there for when you feel like things get shaky and confused. That's what you want. That's what you want your success to be like. You just want it to be like, you know what? I know that this will be here. This will stand the test of times. Can you build a level of success that will be able to endure the test of times? And of course, nature breaks things down. Earthquakes happen, hurricanes happen, homes. But you know what? The people that are used to those things, they built their house around those possibilities. They built their structure around those possibilities. They built that foundation around those possibilities. Like the houses in LA, they have to dig these, I forgot the name of them, these caissons, these big pieces of concrete that's so deep. I can't even think how deep it goes in the ground, but they're like so wide. They're like, I think they're like 20 feet in radius, and then they go like 30 feet in the ground, because they're like a lot of the houses in Hollywood built on a hill. So you got to make sure, but those people build those homes with that in mind. So can you build a success that can test the times, y'all? So like I said, I just want to come drop real quick, man. I really, really appreciate everybody. Thank y'all for tapping in. You make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe. Like I said, man, y'all go also check out the website. The books are up now, y'all. jbwaters.com, JBWATERS. Go in there, check the books out. I would love for y'all to be able to subscribe to my email outreach and my newsletters, and I'm having sweepstakes and giveaways and signed prints that I want to send off, and books that I want to give away. And go in there and tap in, show some love to your boy, and I will keep showing love to y'all. And for everybody who just joined for the first time, hopefully you made it this far, and make sure y'all stay and come back, and got some more things going for y'all. Make sure I go check that Come Better More Money playlist out too. I just dropped a video a couple days ago. It's about saving money. It's still early, it's the beginning of the year, so let's try to see how much money we can save. I got some more good things coming for y'all. But as usual, stay well, be conscious, and write your world into existence. Waters love.